Amazing tunnels to link Russia, Japan, Korea. Mega tunnels projects. The Japan-Korea Undersea Tunnel, also known as the Korea-Japan Undersea Tunnel, is a proposed tunnel project that would connect Japan and South Korea via an undersea tunnel that would cross the Korean Strait between the islands of Iki and Tsushima, covering a distance of about 128 kilometers in a straight line. A $170 billion tunnel connecting Japan to South Korea is being considered by Japan. The Korean Strait is a narrow water passage that separates Japan and South Korea, or Busan and Fukuoka on the other side. Is it possible to tuck Shu metro areas? The Korean Strait, with populations between 3.4 and 5.5 million people, separates not only these cities but also the entire country of Japan, which has a population of 126 million people and a GDP of $5.2 trillion, from the rest of the mainland Asia and beyond. The Korean Strait, on the other hand, is barely 180 kilometers wide, with a maximum step of only 227 meters and two huge, ideally located islands in the middle. The notion of a tunnel across the strait is being considered. Kunaki, an Imperial Japanese officer, first introduced the notion in 1917. Imperial Japan, on the other hand, was the first to explore it seriously in 1939. Japan desired to construct a tunnel across the strait in order to further investigate its colonies, notably Korea, while also connecting to its ally Germany and Europe. Geological surveys were carried out in 1941, and Japan's plans were finalized in 1942. Several newer suggestions may have been examined since the end of World War II in the mid-1980s. As a proposal for a tunnel between Busan and Fukuoka, the Korea-Japan Friendship Tunnel was presented. 4 of the strait islands would be crossed. The tunnel would then connect to the Sanyo Ocean Consent and Co train, allowing Tokyo and Seoul to travel at fast speeds. This tunnel was estimated to cost $70 billion in the 1980s, or $169 billion in 2020. Nothing, however, came of it. Then, in the early 2000s, 3 newer concepts were put up. All 3 would begin tending to Karatu, Japan, and reverse Iki and Sushi. The idea that ended in Busan and covered 230 kilometers was the most popular. It would comprise a 60-kilometer bridge connecting Karatu and the Iki Islands. The second plan calls for a huge tunnel as well as trains and a motorway. These mega projects would cost between $134 and $190 billion and take 15 to 20 years to build, but they would provide significant benefits. If a high-speed rail line is built, the tunnel will turn an 8-hour ferry ride into a 15-minute train ride, drastically reducing travel times and fees for the 20,000 people who cross the border every day. The tunnel will also create approximately 45,000 new jobs, trying to revive Japan and South Korea's construction industries. In addition, the tunnel would offer political benefits by building connections between South Korea and Japan. At lesser depths, the Korean Strait is a max step of just 227-meter tunnels already exist. A tunnel is now being built 392 meters below sea level in Norway. Not only is a tunnel of this size conceivable, but Japan and South Korea have extensive experience with mega projects of this size. Each portion of the tunnel would be longer than the current world record holder. The second tunnel is likewise in Japan, but a Korea-Japan tunnel would be extremely problematic. To begin with, Japan and South Korea are not the best pals. They're both allies of the United States, but several problems, including a trade war, have damaged their relationship. Some Koreans believe that it will benefit our country little while allowing Japan to enhance its regional clout. Korea and Japan also have different rail gauges and drive on opposite sides of the road, adding to the logistical challenges. If the tunnel is to serve rail raids outside of South Korea, it will have to pass through North Korea, which is still technically at war with the South and has a highly volatile government. Russia proposal for a tunnel to Japan. Russia is proposing building a $76 billion tunnel deep in the ground that will connect Japan to the rest of the world. People and cargo traveling to and from Japan must travel by sea or air because the country has no physical connections with the rest of Asia. Meanwhile, the Soil Strait divides the Russian island of Sakhalin from Japan's Hokkaido Islands. It's only 43 kilometers long and 43 kilometers wide, and with a maximum step distance of only 118 meters. And as a result, the notion of constructing a straight tunnel through the dirt is now being carefully studied. The Sakhalin Strait, which is 20 kilometers wide, and the 43-kilometer-long Earth Strait separate the Japanese mainland from Russia. In 1971, Japan chose to build the State Camp, a train bridge that connects the two Garden Straits. It has a length of 43 kilometers and a width of 43 kilometers, and with only 118 maximum step distance. As a result, the idea of digging a straight tunnel through the dirt is being researched. The 20-kilometer wide Sakhalin Strait and the 43-kilometer long Dirt Strait that separate Japan from mainland Russia. Japan decided to construct the State Camp, a train bridge that connects the two Garden Straits, in 1971. Then, in 2009, Russia stated that it was seriously considering it. Cycling via the Hokkaido Tunnel would be about 50 kilometers long and 150 meters deep. This is entirely possible. In the Rockfest Tunnel, which is now under construction, the Seikan Tunnel is 54 kilometers long. The highest step in Norway is 392 meters. The tunnel would have most likely included two machine boards, rail tunnels, and a central service tube along with several ventilations. A bridge would also be built as part of the project, crossing the 8 kilometers of the Novel Square and connecting Sakhalin to mainland Russia. A partially constructed tunnel has already been seen across the street. It began construction in 1950 but was put on hold when Stalin died in 1953, with only 2 shafts built. Finally, the project will incorporate new railways, cycling, and the removal of screen covers. The tunnel will be connected to the Trans-Siberian Railway. The cost of this tunnel project was estimated to be around $50 billion in the year 2000. With a population of 76 billion people in 2021, such a relationship would be extremely beneficial. For starters, it would make the 4.5-hour ferry ride more bearable. I participated in 2-hour training sessions. Thousands of employment would be created, and the building industry in Japan and Russia would be revived. Furthermore, the tunnel would be a triumph of engineering, potentially overtaking its southern neighbor as well as the world's longest undersea railway tunnel. The greatest benefit of the connection, however, would be that it is the first physical link between Japan and mainland Asia. From Russia to Japan, the tunnel might become a key trading route for coal, lumber, metal, and other raw materials. This trade could help to restore relations between the two countries, which have yet to sign a formal World War II peace treaty. It would cost less than half as much and provide similar benefits. A cycle via the Hokkaido Tunnel, on the other hand, would be problematic. First and foremost, the area is a seismic zone. It is possible to construct a tunnel, although earthquakes would provide a significant challenge. During the building of the Seikan Tunnel, which crosses 9 natural flats, landslides, flooding, and transportation accidents claimed the lives of 34 people. According to a 2017 survey, Japanese and Russian relations are tense. Russia is viewed positively by 64% of the Japanese citizens. Finally, the tunnel project would be a lot of fun. According to the 2000 estimate, it would cost more than 3 times as much as the Channel Tunnel between the United Kingdom and France, leading many to assume that the tunnel's expenses would exceed the benefits. According to Russian President Vladimir Putin, a Hokkaido Tunnel could be built in the near future. Then, in late 2019, Valery Lemar Ranko, the governor of cycling or explosion, announced plans for a $10 billion bridge that will connect cycling to the mainland across the novel Story Strait. It will have 580 kilometers of new rail by 2035. All essential infrastructure, with the exception of the major tunnel, will be in place once this is completed, making it much more desirable. Nonetheless, there is little excitement in Japan for the idea. The link will connect Japan to Asia's mainland. The growth of Russia's eastern areas is accelerating. What are your thoughts? Will Russia ever build a Sakhalin-Hokkaido tunnel in Japan? Let's discuss it in the comments section below. It would be fantastic if you liked and subscribed for more videos if you appreciated this one. This one is very similar to this one. Thank you for watching. We hope to see you again soon.